This episode of Nerdist News is brought to you by FX's What We Do in the Shadows, premiering Wednesday, March 27th on FX. How does Captain Marvel's post-credit scene point the way to Avengers Endgame? Captain Marvel is out today. If it's not already on your weekend to-do list, we highly recommend making room for it. The film mixes some familiar Marvel Cinematic Universe ingredients, equal parts Guardian-style cosmic adventure with equal parts Earthbound superhero origin story into something new and fun for the now 21-film deep franchise. And one place where Captain Marvel definitely doesn't stray from the course is the ending. Like all the MCU movies to come before it, this one has, you guessed it, post-credit scenes. And one of them gives us some of our best hints yet at what to expect when Avengers Endgame rolls around in a little over a month. But before we get started, we're going to be coughing up major spoilers for Captain Marvel, so if you haven't seen it yet and want to stay in the dark, we suggest getting out of the way. So, Captain Marvel has two post-credit scenes. The second one, which comes all the way at the end, is a fun but not overly important little moment. Goose the cat, who is actually an intergalactic Lovecraftian creature in disguise called a Flurkin, crawls onto Nick Fury's desk to cough up the Tesseract, which he ingested earlier in the film. It's cute and silly, especially for all the cat owners in the audience, but doesn't add much to the ongoing MCU narrative. But hey, we can forgive him for that because the mid-credit scene is huge, containing some big revelations about what to expect in Endgame. In the mid-credit scene, we find Cap, Black Widow, Rhodey, and Bruce Banner back at Avengers HQ assessing the fallout of the Thanos snap. We also find out that they've been waiting on a response signal from the Captain Marvel beeper Nick Fury activated at the end of Infinity War right before he got dusted. When the beeper loses power, they go to check it out, and lo and behold, Carol Danvers reappears on Earth for the first time since the mid-90s, demanding that the Avengers tell her where her old pal Fury is. So, what does this tell us about Endgame besides the fact that Captain Marvel will be joining the Avengers, which we already kind of knew? Well, the big surprise isn't that she's joining the Avengers, but just how quickly she seems to be doing it. The marketing for Endgame has been super secretive up until now. The little we really know about the plot has been assembled from toy packages and other tie-in merchandise. And Kevin Feige has gone on the record saying that most of the trailer footage will only be pulled from the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. Since we've seen that Avengers HQ scene in the main trailer already, we think that means it comes from the first 20 minutes of the film, which means Carol Danvers shows up super early in the running time. By the way, she's looking good. Not sure if you age slower in space or if the power of the Tesseract keeps you young, but Captain Marvel isn't looking a day older than when she left Earth in 1995. But anyways, the point is she shows up really early in the film. By comparison, Black Panther was the last hero to get a solo film before Infinity War, and he didn't show up in that movie until about halfway through. So this probably means that Captain Marvel's cosmic powers are going to be pretty important to the overall plot, especially when combined with Scott Lang's understanding of the quantum realm, considering that we've seen in the trailer that he's the other missing hero to show up around the same time. But how exactly will this all pan out? Well, it's hard to say for sure, except that we think it's going to take a good long time before their rematch with Thanos. In this scene, Captain America has a beard and Black Widow still has her blonde bob, while most of the toys and promotional materials we've seen are of a clean-shaven Cap and a Black Widow with her red hair. We've also heard a little bit about the Endgame footage screened at the Disney shareholders meeting this week, and apparently in that we eventually see Captain Marvel and Rocket co-piloting the Benatar with some of the other Earthbound heroes sitting in the back seat. This makes us think that maybe Carol Danvers' understanding of intergalactic spacecrafts are needed to help Rocket fix his ship, and once they do, they're off to Thanos' garden. But what do you folks think? Is Captain Marvel going to be instrumental in defeating Thanos? And is there anything else we're missing from that end credit scene? Let's discuss. Thanks again to our sponsor, What We Do in the Shadows. From the director of Thor Ragnarok and one-third of the creators of Flight of the Conchords comes a comedy series you can really sink your teeth into. Based on the cult classic film What We Do in the Shadows is a documentary-style look into the daily, or rather nightly, lives of four vampires who've lived together for hundreds of years in Staten Island. Tune into the series premiere on Wednesday, March 27th at 10 on FX.